What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Epic Gamer. I have an amazing video that I simply just had to put out immediately because this is a game that I played a long time ago, and I started it back when it was in its beta stages. And when I say beta stages, I mean like over half of the map wasn't even there. It was a bare wasteland. There was hardly any content to this game, but over time of playing it consistently, more updates came out, new bugs came out, new biomes came out, and of course new bosses. So I'm going to do this video. This is my first time watching the Grounded trailer, and I wanted to do a reaction video and actually break down the video and just talk about the different things that I see throughout it. So, yeah, let's get this started and let's see. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a huge Grounded fan, and this is, Grounded 2 just got announced, so I am super stoked. I can't have audio in this particular video because it does have music in it, and I don't want to get hit with copyright. So I just muted it with me talking over it, but of course, I'll add some of my own music whenever that time comes. So, let's get started. Let's see. Well, let's just see. Okay, so this is like the cartoon character action figure guy that you actually find in the backyard. Oh, and he just lost a leg. I guess this is a hint to something. Okay, so this must be a new location. After the 2, yeah, so this was a ceremony taking place somewhere, and yeah, this, like a hot dog stand right here. I can't really tell. It looks like it's paint or ice cream. I'm not sure. Here's a tree here. Looks like a pond. Oh yeah, this is definitely a pretty large pond right here, leading into a much bigger pond or lake. Yeah, so I'm gonna let it continue on. That really caught my attention, and then of course this right here is all blacked out from smoke, so they're hiding something over here. Yep, so these are the 4 characters that you get to play in the first game. Yeah, right here it tells you they're minimized against their own will. So essentially, if you don't know, in Grounded, basically 4 kids were kidnapped and shrunken down basically for a science experiment, and were plummeted into a backyard being as small as an ant. And yeah, you're facing off against all different types of bugs and creatures and trying to survive, but also trying to uncover all the secrets, and of course trying to get back home. So there's a close-up of them. Okay, so this right here, I'm not going to give any spoilers for anyone that hasn't played Grounded 1, but essentially this is the bad guys. So I'll just leave it at that. So another close-up of... Oh, here's Burglar. Yep, Dr. Tully. Okay. Oh, snap. Alright, so we're... Oh, here we go. So I'm going to pause it there. This is definitely a park, 100%. This is, of course, the the gate to the actual park. Looks like some type of big table right here. It kind of looks like the oak tree that was in the first game that was kind of like the main hub. Maybe they're going with the same type of theme. Oh, this summer. What? Alright, hold up. I gotta rewind that. Was that an actual... That's a butterfly. Wow, what a beautiful shot right here. But the fact that this is definitely a brand new bug. The bumblebee, of course, was in the first one. And this is just massive. See, I see multiple trees, so I see a wall, so I don't know if you can actually gain access to that. But there's some plants up here. And this is a huge tree, and same with this one. Of course, these trees are on the gate over here, which I'm sure you can't go through here. And then there's a podium here, I guess where the speech was going on, and it looks like some type of jukebox. Not really sure what this is. Dandelion tufts. And then there's this giant statue here. That looks amazing. Oh, I know this is a weevil, but is that? I'm 100% positive that that's a scorpion. Wow. So that's a brand new bug. There were no scorpions in the first Grounded game. Oh, and here's another brand new bug. This is some type of caterpillar. I don't know if it's hostile or, you know, kind of neutral. But wow, this is another brand new bug within seconds of this trailer playing on. So, see a bunch of stuff in the background, but that 2 bugs that fast, that's amazing. Wait a second, was he right? Okay, so I played Grounded for a long time, and I'm sure that if you played Grounded like I did, you sunk a lot of hours into this game, building and creating zip lines from point A to point B to your base to, you know, different locations throughout the entire map. And that took me forever to build the things that I did. But I always said they should have, you know, made it to where you could ride a bug. You could make a mount for a bug so that you could go from point A to point B and a way of carrying more resources with you. Now, I'm not sure if you can carry more resources, but the fact that he's riding, and I'm pretty sure that's a fire ant or fire warrior ant. Now, I know he's coming up down this path. There's a ladybug. Of course, there's the ore weaver spider. Sorry for anyone that has arachnophobia. There are big spiders in Grounded. This is a really cool screenshot right here, though. Let's continue on. Oh, what? Okay, I want to come back to that, but I want to go back to. Of course, we have the bumblebee here again, but this is like it's like a hot dog stand here. So that's probably going to be something that you can climb in, or potentially, you know, this could be a location where you can gain access into it. There could be a lab, or there might be, you know, some really big scary boss in here. I don't know, but I want to play it right now. It is coming out very soon. So anyways, before I start rambling, now this is what I'm excited about. Now, in the first Grounded game, you had, of course, the backyard, but you had different locations throughout the map to where you had different biomes. Like you had a place where it was a sandbox, it was very hot. So you had to make armor to protect you from the sizzling effect. And of course you had the haze, which was where basically a bug spray was spraying out and you had to have a gas mask on to prevent you from being poisoned. But this right here, this is a whole new biome. I know it is. Like, this is going to be like a cold location to where this is ice cream. I mean, this is mint ice cream with chocolate chips. You got vanilla here. Looks like a cookie up here. And this is, of course, an ice cream cone. And I'm assuming this is like a tunnel going into this new cold biome. Let's see. Okay, so this is probably the table we see in the beginning, or it's just another picnic table that's throughout somewhere in the backyard. That's definitely a giant crow feather. Some writing here. It looks like, I don't know if that's like, I don't know, some type of grass or something, but that's definitely a crow feather. Some napkins, a book. This is definitely a cooler right here. Looks like a plastic knife you can use to probably climb up this way. And this is at nighttime, so that's a really cool screenshot there. Wow, so this right here looks like a new weapon also. This looks like a hammer, tier 2 hammer maybe. But something that I did notice right here is that each one of their book bags are different. And in the first Grounded, everyone's bag looks the same. So I'm wondering if you can't get new bags, or you can customize what bag, you know, you like or want. So pretty cool. Oh, so this is another amazing screenshot here. And I'm really curious of like what this is. This is definitely like ice shards from it being very cold. I'm wondering if you bump into these things, if it won't, you know, injure you or not. Or if this is something that you can maybe harvest and use as some type of, you know, material for making a weapon or building something. And of course, this is a giant popsicle, and there's mint and vanilla ice cream everywhere. That was a really cool screenshot here, giant ice cream cone. And see, this is them actually diving into, looks like the snowy, icy biome. See, here's some more of those like thorns right here of ice. And it looks like he has a fire staff right here. Kind of reminds me, that little tuft at the top there, kind of reminds me of roly-poly armor. Oh, so hold up. So this is definitely different than the other Scorpion. At least it looks different. This one looks like it's, you know, red and has like these glowing red patches on him. But this weapon right here is definitely a new weapon to Grounded. I do not know if this weapon was not in the first one. But I wonder if this weapon right here is not made by the materials from this Scorpion. You know, it kind of resembles each other, that red, you know, dark crimson. So they did a perfect parry, but that looks like an amazing, I don't know if it's two-handed or single-handed weapon there. Really cool. Oh, so here we go. Beautiful screenshot here also. Yeah, this is definitely, I'm not sure if that's a moth or butterfly. You know, either way, it's still just an amazing, you know, bug. And the fact that we have new, you know, flying bugs in it too. And, you know, I always wondered why there weren't butterflies in Grounded, but, you know, here we are. Oh, so, you know, I said this was an Ore Weaver before, but this Ore Weaver is doing something different. You know, they didn't do anything like this in the first game. They would stand up and shoot webs at you, but this one looks like he's getting ready to block this guy's attack, because usually when it sparkles like this is when he's doing a charged attack with a spear. And I think the Ore Weaver is putting up some type of barrier to try to block or reduce the damage he takes. And that's most definitely acorn armor that he's wearing. So Ride Together, this right here alone is just amazing. There's some raw science right there, so they got that. That is the mint candy back here in the container. Not really sure what's in the background, but this is definitely, you know, another large picnic table. But the fact that, you know, you're getting to ride, you know, any bug is just amazing. Wait, you know, sorry. Let me go back. So this right here, another beautiful screenshot here. But I'm wondering, in the first Grounded game, the oak tree was kind of the central hub. And I'm wondering if this tree is not, you know, they're not doing the same thing with, you know, another large tree in the middle. But here's another good screenshot where you can see everybody has their own personal ant that they're riding. Oh. I'm not really sure if that's, you know, that's got to be some type of arm, an attachment that you can put on your mount. He is actually carrying weed stems right here with his mount, and he's actually, you know, able to move around, and he is getting ready to put down a garden thing right here. Great design for little huts right here. There's somebody over here sitting in some type of chair. I can't really tell what that is. I don't know what this is up here either. Of course, he's getting ready to build something. But this is amazing. It, like I said, if your mounts can help you carry things, that's going to make... Oh, the amount of grind that you have to do in the first Grounded with actually getting resources from point A to point B is a very long and tedious process. Of course, I love it, but if there's a way of making it easier, I'm all for it. Alright, let's continue on now. So before I talk about this, because this looks epic, I seen where he was kind of interacting with his mount. So I guess you can do emotes and things like that, and your actual mount interacts. Now, what I'm curious is here, this looks like a pretty well fortified base right here. Of course, they have this giant opening. There is a pine cone right here that you can harvest. I'm glad they're bringing them back. Looks like a torch out here. But the main focus here is the fact there is a Priam Mantis. Now, the Priam Mantis was in the first Grounded game, but there was only one of them that you could fight, and it was a boss, and she was honestly pretty difficult to defeat, especially on higher difficulties. Now, right here, this looks like a much smaller mantis, but the fact that this mantis is attacking their base, which is amazing. And what other thing that just caught my attention is if you look at this weapon he is holding, it kind of resembles the Priam Mantis's arm. Not really sure, but that's pretty cool. This is an acorn turret here. I wasn't really a big fan of the turrets, but still pretty cool. Okay, yeah, so here's another one where they're not on foot fighting, they're actually on their mounts. You can see their eyes are glowing red. That means they're like in attack mode. Awesome base here too, whoever built this. There's an aphid here, but I think that's a stuffed aphid. I could be wrong. Of course, here's another turret. Priam Mantis is leaping through the air here. Yeah, right there, you can see that shot. Here's another turret and another one. And yeah, the Priam Mantis is actually pretty big. But it just looks amazing. So that right there, that is spider armor, and of course that is one of the low tier bow and arrows that you can get in the game. Now this right here has got me curious, because this is a basic dagger right here, but the fact that he has two daggers, well, she has two daggers, and this armor looks, I'm not sure if that's spider armor, and this mask thing right here too, that's completely new. But can you dual wield? I mean, that's pretty amazing. Okay, so yeah, that kind of reminds me of like the other guy. Remind me of like an assassin or a rogue, and this one kind of reminds me of like just straight up warrior. Because, well, maybe that other helmet wasn't that, because that looks like it's red like the shield. Did they redo the ladybug armor? And that mace looks actually pretty OP. But that's just overall really, really cool suit of armor right there. And of course there's this one, in which looks like he's wearing like light armor, and he's wearing, you know, this mask that has some antennas on it. And I'm assuming he's got a staff, because yeah, right there. Okay, so that's some type of, maybe that's a frost staff, because that doesn't look like the mint one. Yeah, and it's like shooting a projectile out. Is that mint ice cream? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that is. I don't know if that's looks like a cockroach. Oh, now that's definitely a cockroach. That's a huge cockroach. I wonder if this is a baby cockroach and this is an adult. But again, that's another new bug. You know, him shooting that. I'm assuming that's some type of ice attack. They ever sells another rotten cookie over here. Oh, here's another. This bug right here was in the original. This is a stink bug. They usually go around where there's dry grass, dead area. Stink bugs were pretty fun. Ugh. The most annoying bug in the game. I'm not going to discuss that. Okay, here's just a basic ladybug. You can see they're fighting them. The bug on their mounts. Oh, and then that right there. That scorpion is huge. And this right here, this bubble you're seeing, that is a perfect parry. So I'm assuming, because I see his hands on the handles here, that you're able to attack and block and things with your actual mount against, you know, a much bigger, stronger bug. But this scorpion, see, this scorpion looks different than that other one. This one more looks like, and it's like a grayish green color, and the other one is clearly red. So I'm not sure, but the fact that there could be multiple different species of scorpions, maybe. Oh, now that is just an epic screenshot. This is basically the big, bad, ugly of beginning stages of Grounded 1, which is a wolf spider. Wolf spiders can be very aggressive. Their venom was very bad. It could kill you very quickly in the first game, especially before you get geared up and you know what you're doing. But that's definitely a wolf spider, and this is an ore weaver. But what caught my attention is of course he's riding it. I can see him here, but this ore weaver has some type of armor on. You can see it on the back, but especially on his legs right here. It looks like different sections of where his leg bends has pieces of armor. And of course, see the background. It looks like a pond out here. Another large tree. Of course, there's a cooler. I'm not sure what that's on. Might be on like edge of the picnic table. Overall, absolutely amazing. I'm blown away. So Grounded 2, July 29th. All right there. Coming July 29th, 2025 to game preview. Xbox Series X, Xbox PC, and Xbox Cloud. Okay, so I am absolutely blown away, and I am so excited about this. I love Grounded, and the fact they're coming out with another one is absolutely amazing. But one more thing, well actually two more things before I go. I just noticed on this scorpion that something is off. Now, I'm not going to tell you what this is, because if you haven't played the first Grounded, I don't want to give out spoilers, because I don't like spoiling things, you know, for others, like a movie or a plot or anything like that. But this right here is definitely some type of mechanical thing that's been attached to this actual scorpion. And you can see that instead of them being red eyes like most bugs, they are purple. So if you know, you know. I just wanted to point that out. And I just want to say, at the end of this video, I'm going to play through the bonus video that the developers of Grounded put out. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just going to let you guys watch it so you guys can enjoy it like I did. And I just want to say thank you for all the support I've had on my channel. I know my YouTube channel is still very small. I'm trying to grow it, but I will be playing and talking about all things gaming on my channel. I do top 10 videos about gaming. I do, of course, teaser trailers, reveals, new DLCs, and just anything to do in the gaming universe. I actually did Master Chief versus Doomslayer, who would actually win in that fight. You should check that video out. What I came up with as a basically end scenario to maybe break this, you know, debate of who would win. So if you're interested in that stuff, or if you just enjoy anything gaming, well, like and subscribe and help a beginning content creator out, if you find, you know, the need to, or if you wish to. But if not, I do appreciate you sitting through my video, and I cannot wait to play this amazing game, and I cannot wait to bring more and amazing content to all of you. So, this is Epic Gamer. I'm out.
We're so proud of Grounded. What started as a small passion project to make a quirky game where you're shrunk down to the size of an ant, trying to survive in a backyard, grew into something way bigger than we ever imagined. Over 25 million of you jumped in, explored, built, crafted, and fought off giant bugs together. Y'all helped make the entire experience very special to us. The team's been cooking up a ton for Grounded 2, and we're so excited to talk about it. I had to grease some palms to steal a bit of time from the direct to give you a deeper look. There were so many possibilities and ideas that didn't make it into the first game, so with the sequel, we have the chance to dream bigger. To achieve those dreams, we partnered with the amazing folks at Eidos Montreal. Together, we're taking Grounded from the backyard to an even larger world, the Brook Hollow Community Park.
When we started working on Grounded 2, we knew that we wanted to make a bigger world. Fortunately for us, Eidos Montreal became our main partner on developing Grounded 2. They have a lot of similarities to the sorts of things that are important to us at Obsidian. They tend to make very narratively strong games. They make games with really deep characters and great character progression. They make games with great gameplay.
Everyone at Eidos Montreal is thrilled and honored to be working with Obsidian Entertainment. Our two studios share a lot of DNA. The same things that are important to Obsidian Entertainment are important to us. Choice and consequences, player communities, and doing justice to great IPs and great franchises. The fact that we're the first partners that they're working with to make a sequel to their franchise feels like we're an important part of their history.
The events of Grounded 2 take place 2 years after the first game. The same 4 teenagers are returning.
So there's Max, Hoops,
Willow.
And Pete.
They're a couple years older, which means they've gone through a bit more high school, a bit more mature. It's 1992. The world's a little bit different, but we're still in that fun, nostalgic era of the early 1990s. In Grounded 2, we're moving the action out of the backyard and into the Brook Hollow Community Park. Not only is it bigger, it allows us to tell a lot more stories and expand the world of Grounded by exploring what the community of Brook Hollow has been up to and what they've been through.
The park overall is about 3 times the size of the backyard, and our initial starting area is actually the same size as the entire backyard from the first Grounded. The reason we wanted to move into a park wasn't just to create a bigger world, but was to give us the opportunity to explore the community of Brook Hollow and what secrets have they been hiding.
What we love and what we're excited about in terms of the park is the opportunity to create environments and landmarks that are mundane at normal size, but are colossal wonders when you're the size of an ant. Everything from a giant trash can to a community picnic table or a snack bar. All of these areas come to life in a brand new way.
Part of the fun in Grounded 2 is that the park was evacuated really quickly right before our teens were shrunk. And that means that the park has been sort of turned upside down and is in a topsy-turvy state. And that leads to really fun environmental storytelling, but it also leads into the creation of amazing biomes for our characters to explore. One of my favorite examples of this is the ice cream cart. In all the commotion, the ice cream vendor's cart has been knocked over and its contents have spilled out into the ground. And what this means for our young adventurers is that they'll be able to explore this frozen cave of interesting challenges and colorful Lovecraftian horror.
We have one anthill that's actually somebody decided to bury a bunch of toxic stuff in the park. And so there's all these toxic chemicals under the ground. The environment looks very cool and very spooky with all of these sort of chemical pools. And of course, nothing can live down there except for one type of insect, the cockroach. We are oftentimes reinventing environments, and in future updates, you're gonna see a ton of new stuff. You do a lot of fighting against insects of all shapes and sizes. We didn't just want it to look better, we also knew we wanted to add a new layer of strategy. The changes that we've made aren't limited to tuning animations or adjusting attack or defense numbers or making characters or insects move faster or slower. But we did all that too, but there's also an entire sort of rock, paper, scissors strategy involving light attacks, heavy attacks, and blocking. We've also added dashing as a new way to both get out of danger quickly or jump in for a quick attack. And almost all the insects in the game will have these abilities now too. Sort of like a chess match, but one that's super frenetic, looks super cool, and is ultimately just a ton of fun. We're leaning into clear play styles for tanky warriors, low defense, high damage rogues, effect-wielding mages, and ranged hunters. In the first Grounded, we have mutations, and there were weapons and armors that favored different playstyles. In Grounded 2, not only will there be passive mutations, but there will also be active mutations. And a lot of those mutations support these archetypes.
My favorite way to play pretty much any game is chasing after those game-breaking builds. And that's why I'm so excited for what we're doing with archetypes in Grounded 2. I'm all in on the rogue. Now, you can even dual-wield daggers. I've been dialing in this glass cannon build that stacks ambush, assassin, and cardiofan mutations with the wolfbane daggers and the wolf spider armor. It lets me open up combat with massive backstab damage that also inflicts venom. Then, I can use the extra stamina to reposition and try to dodge, rinse, and repeat. It's high risk, high reward, and absolute chaos in all the best way. I'm looking forward to seeing what wild combos the community comes up with and what they inevitably break once they get their hands on the archetype system. It's going to be awesome watching it evolve with player feedback and watching us try to keep up with all of your game-breaking builds.
One of the great things about Grounded is the variety of players it attracts, from builders to crafters and everything in between. If you've ever watched me on Casually Grounded livestream, you'd know that I'm neither. I am a murderer of insects. Personally, I prefer the term harvester. I love going out, hitting things, and bringing the materials like insect body parts back to my friends to use. This way, we keep progressing and playing together.
We're also trying to make sure that armor and equipment are easily understood by the player, especially when they're playing co-op with their friends. It was really, really important for us to deliver on all of that for the bigger space and experience, because that was the only way we could truly support the feature the community has been asking for since the very first Grounded release. Mounts. Our mounts, we call them buggies, have an entire suite of moves and have their own special abilities and attacks.
We really wanted the buggies to be an extension of the player in every way possible. And that meant making sure that buggies had unique and valuable abilities across all the core pillars of Grounded. So that doesn't just mean exploration and travel. That has gameplay implications for combat, crafting, and building as well. Just like how we wanted to expand on player playstyles throughout the game, we're going to make sure that every buggy that we add has its own personality.
The Red Ant Soldier can enlist up to 2 Red Ant workers to follow you around and help you out. If you get into combat and you don't want to fight while you're saddled on your buggy, you can jump off and they'll fight right alongside you and provide support. The Orb Weaver buggies are a little less useful when it comes to general utility, like building a base or harvesting, but they're awesome when it comes to combat. Sure, their defenses aren't super strong, but they're heavy hitters. They're also super fast, and they have some great special abilities, like a scream that allows them to stun lesser-powered insects, and the ability to shoot webs and entangle other creatures. So the Orb Weavers won't be your base-building buggy. You should use the Red Ant Soldier for that. But they're super fun for exploration and combat. Red Ant Soldiers and Orb Weaver Spiders will be available at Game Preview launch. There will be others in the future, but those are the 2 we're starting with. The connection that our Grounded community has with us is something we want to keep forging with the sequel as we make an even bigger game than the original.
Pretty much from day one, we knew we wanted to return to Game Preview for Grounded 2. Sure, it comes with some trade-offs, like the game's not done and it's out to the world, but there's so much value in building it alongside the community. Buggies change how you traverse and navigate the park. What we're doing with Grounded 2 is we're actually keeping zip lines held back so we can see how players engage with buggies, and then we can tweak zip lines to bring them back over time to really complement that buggy experience and make exploring the park far more fun. That kind of feedback loop helped shape the original Grounded, and we wanted to shape the design for Brook Hollow Park, archetypes, buggies, all of it. We also learned a lot from that first time around. One thing that stood out immediately, players blaze through our content, especially the story. That makes sense. Story, characters, world building, that's kind of Obsidian's thing. It's the flavor we bring to the survival genre. So this time, we're starting with a much bigger baseline.
There's been an explosion at Brook Hollow Park. Chaos descended on a ceremony commemorating the 2-year anniversary of when 4 teenagers were miniaturized against their will.
One of our favorite parts of the first game was watching the community uncover clues and spin up theories. This time around, we're leaning even more into that, and we'll be keeping a close eye on what our players discover and how they interpret it. Because you never know what might inspire us as development moves forward.
We really started to hit our groove at the end of Grounded 1. We found that being open about what we were planning and then following through was key to building trust with the community. As a small team, we had to experiment with update pacing and scope, and what we found resonated the most with all of you were bigger, beefier updates, even if it took us a little longer to land. So that's the plan. Larger, more complete updates spaced out just enough so we can take your feedback seriously and make every drop count. You can expect in our big updates, new buggies, new biomes, new building pieces, all the good stuff. And we're launching with a public roadmap so everyone knows what to be excited about in the future.
All of us at Obsidian Entertainment and Eidos Montreal are super excited about how close we are to letting all of you players get shrunk a second time and explore the all-new park on buggies in Grounded 2. If you're a returning Grounded player, we're really looking forward to you experiencing all the improvements. If this is your first time getting Tiny, then all I can tell you is that a world with an entirely new perspective and an entirely new feel awaits you in Brook Hollow Park. It's time to ride together and survive together.